folks, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's start.
I think we'll get started. And my name's Clive Young, if I haven't already met, from here at UCL.
I'm Natasha Perovic from UCL as well, Digital Education Team.
Yeah, we're part of the Digital Education Team. And what we're going to do with you today, some of you already guessed what we're going to do here today, is we're going to work on the design of modules and courses. And the main idea of today really is to kind of show you this method that we've been using at ABC for about 3 years. And it's been really kind of successful. You know, we've had a lot of engagement with our academics, and we've evaluated it, and they feel it's been very valuable for them, both as individuals but also as teams, working together as teams. You'll see the kind of ethos of this kind of team collective conversation that this involves.
And they are telling us that it's helping them change their practice, and they're actually enjoying it, and they have a feeling that is improving their curriculum.
So we've run this, we've got currently, we're just at the very end of our HEFKE project, and that's like a word from our sponsors. That's sponsoring this today. Yes. The coffee, which has run out already, and the lunch, which we hope will arrive. There's still water there. You shouldn't get too dehydrated. So this is really a very, very last of that particular project. But it's part of a kind of bigger scheme where the ABC has kind of taken off outside UCL. Natasha and I have been around quite a few places now, showing the kind of method and suggesting to people if they want to take it on, try it out. And we've also seen people adapting it and changing bits and pieces. It's a variety of flavours that have come out from that. So what we're going to show you today is actually what's now been termed as the classic method, which is the one that we devised here at UCL and are still using. But you might see other people using slightly different flavours. But we try and keep the basic structure together. And the reason for that, folks, is it works. And hopefully it will. I'm pretty sure it'll work today as well. It works to get our academic teams together, to get them thinking about pedagogy and thinking about technology as well. And we are digital education people, so we get kind of excited by digital things. But we know, and you know, that for any digital things to work in a course, it's got to be grounded, it's got to be based on a good pedagogical reasons. So we start from the pedagogy and we go to technology from that.
Yeah. So if you take this method to use in your institutions, please think of it as a separate unit. And then if you want to build on it, and people do, give people a break, give them a lunch, and then bring them back to continue.
Yeah, so if you're interested, all this stuff, by the way, we should say, everything's online. It's all open source. There's a new version just about to be launched, but it's basically the same stuff. It just looks a bit better, you know, but the method is all the same. So if you go back and download the stuff, or you come back in another few weeks, there'll be a slightly updated version of it, and there'll be some additional guides and stuff. Again, this is from the HEFKE project. We're producing these kind of guides and some videos. Okay then, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is, we're going to, I'm afraid it's kind of big room, so I'm not going to go around everyone, I'm afraid, but you've already introduced yourselves to each other around the table. Who's come furthest today? I got a call from Leeds. Has anyone come further than Leeds today? Leeds?
Further than Leeds.
Yeah.
Sorry? Further than Leeds. Where?
Sofia, Bulgaria.
Oh, right, that's... Okay, you win. Okay, fair enough. Sofia, oh, that's very pleased to see you. Okay, so... thanks for coming. It's a gorgeous day out there, but it's really hot for travelling, so really appreciate you coming here. Hopefully it's something that you're going to be able to take back and use. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a kind of a very quick presentation of what this is all about, because you need to get the kind of context of it. But most of the day, folks, is going to be you working on designs. And the aim of today is really what we call a demo version, is to get an idea of how the process works, to see whether it's useful for you and your academic teams and your colleagues, something you might want to take back and use, and as we say, adapt. But we like it to be kind of practical.
Yes.
So Natasha's already been around the tables to say...
Yes, not around every table.
Okay.
If you have a course or a module that you would like to design or redesign, please work on that one. If there are 2 people around the table who would like to work on their courses, please go to that table there, because there was nobody there minutes ago who actually wanted to design, or that table over there. So just distribute yourselves. But we'll ask you before we start with
we'll give you a chance to do that.
Yeah.
So there's 2 spare tables, one there and one there. We also could have, yes? Third spare table.
We have no courses.
You have no courses. We'll come back to you guys now.
Think about academic development course. Think about short course, anything like that.
How many here are academic developers, by the way, or learning technologists or that kind of general stuff?
Academics.
Teachers, academics. Okay, most of that. Okay.
Oh, we have one
you guys
now
here.
there.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, folks.
All right.
We'll
Let's
sort
go.
you guys out. Don't worry. It's really when we do this like for like conferences and stuff. We obviously don't know who's going to come in the room. Therefore, we just have to kind of make something up. And usually, you'll come up with something.
Yeah.
You'll come up with something. And that will be just a demonstration of the method. Anyway, enough of this.
All right.
Let's get on and do the
Okay.
presentation.
Oops.
Right. As I say, we've run this for about 3 years, and it came from folks a real need we had about 2012 was it?
Yeah.
Well, you tell the story.
Okay, we were invited. I work mostly with School of Life and Medical Sciences, and one group of lecturers were starting a new program. So they invited Clive and me from Digital Education to help them get this program going. So the program was supposed to start in September, October. They invited us in March, April. They had nothing. So we did help them, and they managed to do a lovely program. They actually recruited very well. But the whole process was very, very painful, and some people burnt out. So when we finished with that, we came back to the office and we thought, oh, well, we need to think about something better, some structure for our academics, something that can actually support them at any stage of the development. This was a new program, but sometimes people come back, they want more blended, they want to review, as a result of some feedback and so on. So we looked at various models that already existed.
We did a bit of desk research. There's about 140 learning design modules out there. This is the best one, so you're lucky here today.
Yeah.
But they all do slightly different things. But we kind of settled on one called the Viewpoints Method. Those of you who are kind of longer in the tooth might remember there was a project from JISC about 10 years ago called Learning Design, I think it was called, something like that. And this was one of the projects from that. And it got a really great review. It was evaluated. And from that came the idea of these bits of paper, you know, the sort of sheets of paper which represents the student's journey. It's like a storyboard. Those with a kind of media background will recognise that kind of principle. It's like a story, it's like a storyline with the student's experience represented by activities, and those activities are represented by these cards. Okay, so that was what Viewpoints brought to us, that kind of principle. And we liked it because one of the things, folks, that kind of we were thinking about is we were particularly dealing with the medical school at that time, and if you've worked with medical people before, they're very kind of practical and pragmatic, and we wanted to do something we could get people in a room for about an hour and a half. Okay, so we decided that was a kind of a useful block of academic time. We thought an hour is not enough. We can't really just do enough concept stuff in an hour. 2 hours seemed to be too long because people wouldn't turn up. So we thought an hour and a half, let's split it different. So everything's been designed to fit within an hour and a half. And of course there's a limit to what you can do. We can create a design, but we don't really get into developing stuff. That's for another stage. Okay, so it's a design we create. But we can get through it in an hour and a half. What we added was Professor Daniel Lorillard, who's now here at Institute of Education. She has a theory called a conversational framework, which is quite a complicated thing if you've looked at it. But we've kind of taken a part of that and operationalised it, and that is the 6 cards that you see on the table, the 6 coloured cards, each representing an activity that students do when they're learning. And what we claim, and what Diana quite rightly claims, is you can build the student experience from these 6 cards, these 6 like Lego building blocks.
Yep.
You'll be working with them just in a few minutes.
Okay. What we didn't mention, we also had new institutional strategy 3 years ago, and some new initiatives like Connected Curriculum, and we also have UCL 2021 strategy. We promised to be fully blended campus by 2021, and we thought we need something to help our academics actually show how they are getting there.
Because we knew, I mean, the same in all your institutions, we have these kind of like ambitious strategies to change the learner experience and all sorts of groovy things. But how do you actually do that? How do you actually get those strategies into real designs, real student experiences? This provides one way to do it. All right.
So, why ABC? Well, A for us stands for ARENA, which is our academic development program. B is for blended, and C is for connected, which is our initiative. However, some other universities that took this model they call it also ABC, but they call it activity-based curriculum or academic blended curriculum. So they changed the acronym to suit them for whatever they need to do.
ABC is a nice acronym. It can stand for lots of things, you know.
So B for blended.
So B for blended. So this is our kinetic curriculum, and if you've had any kind of contact with UCL before from the educational side, this is kind of a big thing. It's about 3 years old, and the idea is to transform our undergraduate teaching to become more, so the students get a better experience of research. That's a huge research institution, obviously. And you know, we want to both bring research and teaching together a little bit, and also kind of raise the profile of teaching in the university. So this was a very clever approach to do that, and it's now kind of widely used and adopted across the university. It's too complicated to go through today, but just the idea here is this is a strategy that we have to implement. It's got various bits of it. If you go back to your own institutions, you'll be aware you have your own strategies, which are probably equally complex, and you're going to have to try and find some way to get them in, either as a teacher or as an academic developer, to get them into your courses.
LSE people, watch out. The person behind this is now with you. So you may be going that direction.
You'll have something like that.
Yes, or something similar, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What I wanted to say here is please remember that this is blue because we'll mention it later on.
Important.
You don't need to know more about that. Okay.
And there's 6 things.
And there are 6 dimensions to it.
Come back to that one.
Okay. So the cards. So we mentioned that they come from Diana's theory. So what we did, we made them operational. And the theory says that adult learners really learn by acquiring, while collaborating, when discussing, practicing, producing, and inquiring or investigating. She interchanges this. And combination of these things. So what we did, we took the definition of that type of learning and put it at the front of the card.
Pick up the cards. We've got them on the desk there. You'll see there's the definition on the front, and we'll see what's on the back in just a second.
And the back of the card is divided in halves. On the left side, there are some conventional method activities that students may do, and on the right are some digital. We put these activities out of Diana's table. These are not activities that we recommend in any way. These are activities to prompt you what type of activity that type of learning may be. We left also plenty of space for you to add your own activities, and our academics do add their own activities.
Other universities, when they've adopted this, we were at Lincoln, was it 2 days ago?
And Reading as well.
And Reading as well. They have taken the back bit, and they've, particularly the digital bit, they've mapped it against the technologies they support. So when the academics do what you're about to do and do the design, there's got a kind of clearer guide onto the technologies. When we started this, we didn't even know this was going to work. So we just took the list really pretty much from Diana's work. So it's quite generic. But the nice thing about being generic is it is generic. It works right across different disciplines. We've never really had any issues. And there's plenty, as I say, plenty of space for people to add on their own stuff, so it can be adapted.
Yeah, so what we didn't say, we said we started with this from School of Life and Medical Sciences, but actually it works across disciplines and also works other universities and in a few other countries too. So it's quite flexible. Okay, so I'll just flick through them. We won't spend time on this. Acquisition. Learning while watching, listening, reading, offline and online. Collaborating, working in a group towards a joint output. Discussion, offline, online, synchronous, asynchronous, various types. There, investigation or inquiry, where you send your students to do the work themselves and to find their answers. Practice. Okay, anywhere where you get your students to work in a safe environment on something and you give them feedback so they can improve on it. It can be anything. I sometimes mention examples. It can be anything from high fidelity simulators in medical to multiple choice question quiz. As long as you provide feedback, it's practice. And production, mostly but not exclusively related to assessment. On your tables, you have one extra sheet where we mapped some more activities to these types of learning. They are exclusively for, mostly for fully distance learning courses.
There was somebody here who did distance learning. Who was doing distance learning? As a few did. A few did. Oh, sorry, quite a lot of you did distance learning.
So you may use...
so these are things which wouldn't fit on the card, but we thought they were kind of cool and we should think about them. It's just kind of a nice list gathered from a variety of sources. There's little signs on them. One is visible, V for visible learning. For those who are doing fully distance courses, that means that you can see what the student's doing. So you can see if they're doing a quiz or on a forum or producing a piece of video. It's visible. A can be assessed, and again, most of these things around here, well, most of the things some of them could be assessed in some kind of way. So you could assess, for example, students' participation on a forum as well as some kind of production, formatively or summatively FRS. So that's that. We kind of use this for a while, and people just kind of like it, so we've left it on the table there.
Yeah. All right. Loosely mapped the types of learning to our dimensions of Kinetic Curriculum.
Yeah.
And the workshop.
So this is what we do now in the workshop. So the model, the Viewpoints method, and how we originally ran it was to design individual modules over a 90-minute period. Okay.
Similar to the setup now.
We still do that. It's great. It works really well. We can do it for MOOCs. We do it for CPD courses and other bits and pieces. But where we really find now, and this is we've run it for a few years, is in this kind of format, is where we bring everybody in a program together. So when it's a program design or a program event like an away day or a program review, you can imagine if you're all in one big program, we bring you all in here into a room, we lock the door, and we get you to do what we're going to do in a few minutes, but all in the same program, okay? So you get this kind of meta-level discussion going along. So this would be like module 1, 2, there's another core module, there's an elective, and so on all the way around the program. And you'll see we have some interaction across the tables. And the idea is we get everybody in groups, everyone in the room gets an overview of the student's experience across the entire program. And folks, this is really quite exciting because it's really, really hard to do in a university, to get people in a room for the first stage, and they can be able to discuss about a program, which is quite a complicated thing. So it does work quite well. And
this actually workshop for programs is 2 hours.
It's 2 hours because what we do is we get the program leader, and what she does is give a kind of an introduction beyond what we're saying. It's about what's the direction of travel for this program, what do we want to do, has there been student feedback, has there been changing the kind of professional requirements, do you want to change the assessment, that sort of thing. If it's a new program, it's probably more about values and things like that, of what they want to include in the program. So we do that, and then at the end we do, because we have it in the same kind of cafe style here, we do a kind of promenade, and we go around the various tables, and the module leader then describes the program to the colleagues, okay? So you get this kind of idea. You can look at things like progression. Is there real progression from that module to that one? Are there through lines of activity, through lines of study, through lines of concepts, through lines of methodology, and so on? Could we use some data from this, or some approaches for this, and then bring it into this module? And that module could use a data set which you could use over there. Could use a case study there which we can look at from a different perspective over there. That's the sort of thing we're trying to do that. All our universities are trying to do that, but it's so hard to do. So this gives us a chance to do that. Now in two hours, obviously, you're not going to solve the whole issue in one thing, but what we do is we kind of open up these conversations, and it's really up to the program lead to take that forward, and the module leads to take that forward and get those things into practice.